You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take of your family. Your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. I don't know about this one, Josh, because, it's just not really my world. National American Beer Day. I'm not a beer drinker. Are you a beer drinker? I'm not. Give me wine. Give me vodka. My friends over at Comisario Tequila. That's a good one. I'll take that. I used to be a Jack Daniels drinker. I tried an old fashioned the other day. That didn't excite me too much. Beers, though, I don't know. Maybe it's that you have to have an acquired taste for them. Maybe I got rid of them in college. And it was a statistical change that I made in college. Very, very statistical and strategic. Whoever says that you've got a strategic change on American beer. But here was my thinking. Yes, I was young once. So I am a bit oversized. You might have noticed that. And you have beer. Okay, so you have a beer. What's the difference between a beer and a Diet Coke? Unless you have a significant amount of beer, then there's a difference. The problem is and when you're oversized like me, you have to have a lot in order to have any kind of any benefits that you might like from beer. The downside is when you have a lot of them, you don't get to enjoy it because you're in the bathroom too much. So I learned early on that, a 12-pack of beer or a pint of Jack Daniels. Think about that. You don't have to go to the bathroom nearly as much. I shouldn't be talking about this on radio, should I? But let's move right along. What else do we celebrate? It's, we're getting close to Halloween. Maybe it's a black cat out there. I don't know, Black Cat Day. Navy Day. We appreciate the Navy. So I do see that we have a Navy Day on there as well. Great picture. I love that. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, got a great picture our team put together for Navy Day. Like that one. Can we jump ahead to Chocolate Day for tomorrow? Are we allowed to do that? I mean, of course, I like chocolate any day, so I guess I give myself away there. Let's move right along and see what's going on in the markets today. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 384 points. That's a real shock that you can get the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 384 points when one of the components is really heading south right now. Meta Platforms. I don't know if you've watched that. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Well, I shouldn't say that because we're on Facebook. But down almost 22%. Wonder we'll start seeing later in the day, I'm sure. How much money has Mark Zuckerberg lost in the last month, 3 months, 6 months since the market started going downward? going from the high on the stock of about 212 to now it's at 101. So he's lost 50% of his net worth or his market cap on the stock. I guess people aren't looking in this virtual reality. They're not as much into that as you might have thought. Or maybe we're looking and saying, well, the stock is virtually high. It's just not as high as some people might have thought. So stock's getting hammered right now. And that is a Dow stock. So think about what the Dow Jones Industrial Average would be doing if it wasn't for the anchor called Meta. S&P 500 is up 1.94. NASDAQ is down 95. That's obviously a Meta issue. Oil up $1.32 a barrel. Still having some problems there. The 10-year Treasury is continuing its slide, now down at 3.928. Call it 3.93. That 10-year Treasury note had been quite a bit higher up until just recently. We had been up at about 4.25. Now we're down at 3.93. Now remember, mortgages are not driven by the 10-year Treasury, but there is a correlation. Mortgage-backed securities are what drives the 10-year Treasury. So no matter what anybody says, it is not the 10-year Treasury that is not mortgage rates. There's just a correlation between them. The mortgage-backed securities do tend to track with the 10-year Treasury. So we watch all of those for you. We did get the report came out this morning. Let's see if I can find that number for you. Mortgages from Freddie Mac every Thursday. We get the Freddie Mac mortgage rate. 7.08 this morning. You have to pay 8/10 to get it. Joe Ingram is with us again. I love having when Joe pipes in here. A pre-celebration. I don't know what he's celebrating, but white chocolate, Joe. Dancing name is white chocolate. Does that cure the addiction? No, just milk chocolate, Joe. Milk chocolate. I guess, well, I'm not going to go there. This is a family program. Milk chocolate tomorrow. I guess we got to jump to tomorrow and see what goes on with that. It's good stuff. But the bottom line, did I talk about the Freddie Mac mortgage market rate? I think I just gave that number a little bit. Okay, so every Monday through Wednesday, Freddie Mac wants a survey, and they ask for their members or people that subscribe to provide what they're charging for 30-year loans, and it's a basic. It's the base rate. So when I say base rate, what does that mean? Well, it means that it's a conforming loan, 40% down payment, excellent credit score. Single family residence, and it's a purchase money transaction. Okay, got it. 7.08 was what they came out with on Thursday. Now, because of the way this works, that was basically Monday's numbers. So it really doesn't have anything to do with where we are today. But that's just the number that is released on Thursdays. It's almost always outdated. In our Mortgage Minute, which will be coming up after the break, we give you what's going on most current, because the last few days we've seen a nice, I guess it's kind of hard, a favorable market for the mortgage-backed securities yield. The bond went down, which means interest rates went up. And we'll talk more about that. We'll also talk about some alternatives to reducing the price. I know there's a lot of folks that are out there right now that have their homes listed for sale, and they've realized, something, there's a problem here. We're not getting the pricing that we wanted, and the market's not going in our favor. And we're seeing, for instance, in Anaheim Hills, 92807, not far from where we are right now, 48% of the properties had price decreases. I'm going to give you a few different ideas on what you can do instead of a price decrease that may get your property sold. You can reach me anytime or off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Hey, don't forget, trip to Las Vegas, trip to Hawaii, trip to Nashville, Palm Springs, San Diego, Cabo San Lucas, and Cancun. We're going to have a raffle for a trip, 5 of each of those. Sounds like fun. You better not go away because you won't know about it. You can reach me anytime. Again, off-air number 800-306-1990. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. 1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. S&P 500 now down 2.10. 10-year Treasury down 9 basis points, 3.925. Mortgage-backed securities are up 59 basis points. We like that. Up 59. That's means that interest rates are down. And speaking of interest rates, and you remember I just told you that Freddie Mac came out with their mortgage market survey. 7.08% this morning. You had to pay 8/10 to get it. But our friends over at OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual lock rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. The 30-year conforming loans locked yesterday at 7.009. The jumbos, 6.908. FHA, 6.793. USDA loans, no down payment most of the time, 6.801. And the best loan on the market for those who qualify, the 30-year VA loan, 6.718. That's what they locked at yesterday, again, across 35% of the market. But let's take a look. What we really want to know is, why is this happening? Well, we did get our first reading. Yeah, the advanced reading of the first read of Q3 GDP showed that the U.S. economy grew at an annualized rate of 2.6%. That was better than the 2.3 expected, and follows 2 consecutive quarters in the first and second quarter of negative GDP. Important to remember that this is just the first of 3 readings, and there can be significant revisions. Core durable goods for September was also released and showed a decline of 0.7% month over month, which was much weaker than the 0.3% gain expected. Additionally, the August report was revised lower by 0.6%. Shipments also came in light. Both of these components get factored into GDP and may lead to some downward revisions in the upcoming releases of the Q3 GDP. Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing unemployment benefits for the very first time, increased by 3,000 to 217,000. Continuing claims are those that continue to receive benefits after their initial claim, rose 55,000 to 1.438 million, and has been significantly rising over the past few weeks. Bottom line, initial claims still remain quite low as employers continue to hold on to workers. The rate of hiring is the first to slow in an economic downturn, followed by layoffs. Next week's payroll forecast is 190,000, which would be the slowest since a negative print was seen in December of 2020. CoreLogic released their loan performance insights for August, showing that loans 30 days or more past due decreased from 3% to 2.8%. That's almost a 10% drop. Loans seriously delinquent or 90 days plus decreased from 1.3 to 1.2, while loans in foreclosure remained at 0.3%, which is near multi-decade lows. Overall, delinquencies improved from the previous report and remained at very healthy levels, even in this high inflation, high interest rate environment. Tomorrow, we're going to get the core PCE inflation report, which is the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. Estimates are for core inflation to rise from 4.9 to 5.2 year over year, which would be a negative for the bond market. However, we already knew that inflation went the wrong way in September after the release of the core consumer price index report 2 weeks ago. And since the market already reacted to that release, I don't think there's going to be too much in the way of surprises in the market tomorrow. Last month, a similar picture unfolded and the market handled it pretty well. So that is the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. You are correct, Joe. Build Back Better was referring to rising interest rates, rising gas prices, rising chicken prices, rising cost of your favorite food and mine, bacon. Prices even went up on that. So it's Build Back Better. I guess these stores like the price of the bacon. That went up also. So, but hey, you know something? I've got a problem here. Josh, maybe you can help me with this one. There's now two different issues that I'm agreeing with Governor Gavin Newsom on, and it's really scaring me. I'm looking at Proposition 30. I agreed with him that we need to get rid of that one. That's a no. And I looked at that and said, Newsom says no. I say no. I must be wrong. What's going on? Still no. The other one is I saw a commercial with him the other day, and it says, vote like your future depends on it. Because it does. And he's right. But are you going to keep voting the same way? That's the question. Okay, so maybe he and I have a different opinion as what we think the solution is for that. But that's just what I was contemplating there, and it kind of worried me. I got my team to help me here, so I'll be able to get through this without going to a safe space. I'm sure I'm gonna get some real interesting comments on that one.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Okay, let's move right along. We're talking about ways to sell your house, and I don't know, Josh. We're gonna have to keep this one because I know that we'll need this for other people as well. Ways to sell your house without reducing the price. Well, the bottom line for this is you need to get greater visibility of your property. How do you get greater visibility of your property? Well, you got to market it properly. That's one of the biggest issues right there is marketing your property properly. Okay, so how do you do that? How do you make sure? Well, you got to have professional pictures. You got to start off with somebody that knows what they're doing in the marketing world. Just did this yesterday with an agent to help try and drive some traffic to the property. But I'm going to give you something that we've been talking about since, well, it's for a long time. I don't remember when we started talking about it, but I'm sure it goes back to at least 2017. How to get the most money from the sale of your home. And obviously, every homeowner wants to make sure they maximize their financial reward in selling their home. But how do you guarantee that you receive the value for your house? Here are some ways of doing that. And yeah, we're going to give you 3 different ways of maximizing the value. So the first one is going to be, well, it's quasi in there, is we're looking at the price. We want to make sure the price is properly done. And one of the things that we know, and we've got a graphic for this one, is we want to make sure that you price the property properly and maybe even price it aggressively. So if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of the socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're going to see a graph right here, and I'm going to talk you through it for those of you that are listening to us on radio. But the impact of price on visibility. And this was something that was commissioned. I think it was commissioned by the National Association of Realtors. And I think it was one of their subsidiaries. I think it's I think it was a company called Sales or Score. I'm going to see if I can find the Move Sales Inc. was the source of the graph that we're showing. So here's the issue. You want to get as many people into the property as you can. How do you do that? First off, price it properly, maybe even aggressively. The impact of the price on visibility. If you price your property 15% above the market price, about 10% of the marketplace will see your property. If you price your property 10% above market value, you may get to 30% of the market will see the property. If you price your property at market value, you're going to get about 60%. Price it 10% below, 75% of the market will see it. And if you price it 15% below, 90% of the market will see it. Price your property properly. Think about that. If you've got a $500,000 house and you price that house at $575,000, people are going to know it. If you price it at $425,000, people are going to say, I got to go see this. Is there something wrong? What is the value? What am I missing? I need to go see this property. Welcome, Alex. Glad to see you with us. So pricing it properly is the start. The next step, how do you make sure that you get people to see the property? Well, I shared this a little bit yesterday. If you weren't listening, shame on you. But here's the issue. Realtors work for money. They work for commission. There are cut rate realtors out there who say, you know something, you don't need to pay the realtor anything. People are going to see the property anyway. Hogwash. Because most properties are sold by realtors. And realtors, I talk to a lot of them. And they say, well, Ron, we don't look at the commission on the buyer's agent is going to get made. Is going to get paid. Really? So the realtor is the only one in the world that doesn't care how much they make for going out to work every day. I care about how much I make going out to work. You probably care about how much you make going out to work. But the realtor says, I don't know, I don't look at that. Really? Who are you trying to convince? If we put in there that you sell this $500,000 house or $1 million house and you're going to make $1, are you going to work real hard to sell that? If you're having an entry-level job at, I don't know, McDonald's, and they're paying, I don't know, $15 an hour. I don't know what the number is. I'm just throwing a number out there. I have no clue what it is. But say you get $15 an hour at McDonald's, and somebody comes across the street from McDonald's, they work at In-N-Out, and they say, you know something, we got to work a little harder in In-N-Out, but they pay us $22 an hour. Are you willing to work a little harder? I bet you are. And I bet a realtor will too. So what happens if we tell the realtors, we're going to increase your commission, the buyer's agents, to say 4% or 5%? Now, normal in the market right now is about 2.5%. We're saying, what if we go to 4 or 5? Do you think the realtor is going to work harder? Of course they are. Now, they're not buying the house, but they're going to call everybody that they know that's shopping the market for that particular property type, if it's suitable for them, and make sure that they get them over there to see the property. Everyone's going to go see it. Okay, so that's the second way that we're going to try and drive traffic. We're going to get the price is going to help us open people's eyes, the commission to the buyer's agent, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the next way, and then we're going to talk about what's most important to the seller. We'll talk about that as well. You can reach me anytime or off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily Home and Finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Let's see what we've got today. I think it's about millennials still driving. Our millennials are still a driving force of today's buyer demand. If you're thinking about selling your house but wondering if buyers are still out there, know that there are still people who are searching for a home to buy today, and your house may be exactly what they're looking for. While the millennial generation has been dubbed the renter generation, that namesake may not be appropriate anymore. Millennials, the largest generation, are actually a significant driving force for buyer demand in the housing market today. Here's why. Millennial home buying power. While there's no denying higher mortgage rates are making it more challenging to afford a home today, many millennials are still eager and able to buy homes. Whether it's their first or they're moving up, that's in large part because of the value they place on education. A recent article from First American says millennials may be the most educated generation in our nation's history. Because of that, they tend to earn higher wages, and that translates to greater home buying power. Odetta Cushy, deputy chief economist at First American, explains, quote, in 2020, millennials with a bachelor's degree had a median household income of over $100,000, while those with at least a graduate degree had a median household income of over $120,000. Compare those income levels with the median household income of millennials with just a high school degree or some college of $60,000, and the earning power benefits of higher education and undeniable. Millennials' pursuit of higher education is good news for the housing market because education is the key to unlock both greater earning power and, in turn, home ownership. And since wages are one of the key things that factor into affordability when it comes to buying a home, these higher earnings can help millennials achieve their home ownership goals. Millennials continue to be a driving force of demand. A number of studies have looked into how the millennial generation views home ownership and how they are uniquely positioned to define the housing market moving forward. As the largest generation, the volume of potential millennial home buyers will have an impact on the market for years to come. As an article in Forbes explains, quote, about 80 million strong. Millennials currently make up the largest share of home buyers, 43% in the U.S., according to the recent National Association of Realtors, NAR, report. Simply due to their numbers and eagerness to become homeowners, this cohort is quite literally shaping the next frontier of the home buying process, once known as the rent generation. Millennials have proven to be savvy buyers who are quite nimble in their quest to own real estate. In fact, I don't think it's a stretch to say they are the key to overall health and stability of the current housing industry, unquote. If you're thinking of selling your house but are hesitant because you're worried that buyer demand has disappeared in the face of higher mortgage rates, know that is not the case for everyone. While demand has eased this year, millennials are still looking for homes, as Mark Fleming, chief economist of First American, says in an article. While not the frenzy of 2021, the largest living generation, the millennials, will continue to age into their prime home buying years, creating a demographic tailwind for the housing market, unquote. Bottom line, millennials are interested in and well positioned to achieve their homeownership dreams. If you're ready to sell your house, know that it may be just what they are looking for. That is the real-time real estate segment. Again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Let's go back and chat a little bit more about our conversation that we were having a little bit earlier on the ways that the amounts that you're getting for properties. Let's chat about that a little bit on ways to sell your property for the most money possible. That's kind of what we wanted that we've been chatting about here. How do you get that high amount of money? And I gave you some ways here to do that on accomplishing these goals. So let's think about this. I told you already that price isn't a serious issue. Okay, that makes sense. I think it makes sense for you. I've already talked to you a little bit about the concept of increasing the commission and that the realtors do work for money. They want to get paid. Not a real tough issue, not a real stretch to understand. Next item, payment. We've been talking about for a long time on Ron Siegel Radio, since before the interest rates started spiking. We've been talking about this because I've been doing this a long time. I tell you before, I helped the first family that I helped get a home loan was back in 1983. I know, don't say it. Many of you were not even born then, but I did help a family get a loan back then. I've looked at hundreds of credit reports. I've looked at lots and lots of files. Here's the issue. Here's the issue that I want you to understand very, very clearly. The payment can be manipulated by the interest rate. There is a much more significant adjustment to payment when you work on the interest rate and not the price of the property. So as a seller, if you're trying to maximize the amount of money that you get for a property, look at the interest rate. Roughly 1/3. So if you're thinking about on a $500,000 or $600,000 house, if you're thinking about a 5% price reduction on a $600,000 house, 5%, that's $30,000. For about $15,000, you can have a significant effect on the interest rate. So where the rates today, and I don't know what they are, I'm not giving you any kind of an offer right here. But let's just say, let's just go back and say that OBMMI tells us that we're at 7%. Let's use that number. Well, by manipulating the interest rate, by instead of doing the price reduction, use the same money to do a payment reduction, you could probably get that payment down to around 5.5% or 5.75% permanent. Now, I know there's people out there talking about it, the temporary buy downs, 2-1 buy down, which means you get 2% the first year and 1% the second year, or the 3-2-1, 3% off on the interest rate, then the 2%, then 1%. That does not help you buy a piece of property. Yes, your payment is lower, but it doesn't help with the qualification. It doesn't help with affordability. The permanent buy down does. So we use that instead. It must be done properly. If it's not done properly, and our team understands how to do that properly, then what can end up happening is you get involved in predatory lending and high-cost lending violations. Don't want that. Need to bring our team in early to the process so that we can get on board and get these things done for you the right way and not have compliance violations which don't appear until the very end. So there's 3 ways: price properly, or maybe even aggressively, deal with the commission, and deal with the payment. Now, the biggest issue that I have is, or I hear of, first off, we've already dealt with the appraisal problems. If there is an appraisal problem, we've got solutions for that. Now, there's a couple other issues you need to understand. Buyers have the opportunity of going to those iBuyer programs. Dumb. But they can go there. Why do I say they are dumb? It's because people don't understand what they're doing. When you go to the iBuyer programs, the Open Door or Offer Pad or any of those things that you're seeing advertised, what are they saying? Well, this is fast and it's quick and you don't pay commissions, and they don't tell you that you're going to get a lower offer. They don't tell you there's a lot of hidden and non-disclosed fees, and they don't tell you about all the other risks. So let's just use this number, and let's say that you've got a $600,000 house and you've got $200,000 in equity. How do we get the equity numbers? Well, equity is very simply whoops, I did that wrong. So I'm sorry, let's do $1 million house. That's why I've got the numbers on my screen. Do $1 million property. It's about a median price for Orange County. You owe on that property $600,000. You have $400,000 in equity. Simple math. You take the amount of the property value, that's the comps. You take the amount owed, subtract that from the property value, and that tells you your equity. Now, what is the seller most concerned with? How much money am I going to get after expenses? Now, I can't give you all the expenses because some of them are just going to be equal all the way across. But I'm going to tell you 3 different areas here when we talk about what is the net effect to the seller. What is the net effect going to be to the seller? That's the important thing right here. So, Josh, I think I'm going to go to a commercial break real quick because I know we're getting close and I want to have time to explain this. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. The net effect of the seller of using some of these high visibility strategies that I just mentioned. Reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Another curveball for you, Josh. Gotta love having fun with our engineers. Got to make sure they're happy though, because otherwise they can mute my mic. Visit Anaheim just sent me this over, so I know that we can't get this onto our weekend broadcast, but hey, we're gonna do this for today. On the Town, brought to you by Visit Anaheim. This event, I didn't know about this one, but it's a pretty cool event. Anaheim's Fall Festival and Halloween Parade returns to in-person festivities for the first time since 2019 on Saturday, October 29th, starting at 11 a.m. The beloved spooky celebrations have fun for the whole family with live entertainment, delicious food, games, and a Halloween costume contest with awesome prizes. There's even a costume contest for your furry four-legged friends as part of the Fall Festival Halloween Pooch Parade. Parade. Halloween Pooch Parade. Like the way they did that. The city's cherished mascot, Andy Anaheim, will lead the parade of nostalgic floats and performances. The centrally located Halloween tree is located with thousands of orange lights and holds exactly 99 jack-o'-lanterns. Recognizing the Halloween parade's 99th anniversary for nearly a century, the festival and parade have brought the community of Anaheim together. Go visit. You don't have to be from Anaheim to go visit it. I found some of this other the background information pretty interesting as well. Fall Festival and Halloween Parade began on October 30th, 1924. That was even before my time. The inaugural event featured a costume contest, a mutt parade, street dancing, and an evening parade led by grand marshals and baseball legends Babe Ruth and Walter Johnson. The parade grew to such a spectacle that the Los Angeles Times once heralded it as the biggest Halloween parade in the nation, with reports of 150,000 spectators on the sidelines, and was televised on KTLA in the late 1960s. Anaheim Fall Festival, again, Saturday, October 29th, starting at 11 a.m. Got to visit that. That sounds like a great event brought to you by our friends over at Visit Anaheim. So we just throw that out there for you. Just a bonus, something more to do this weekend from our friends over at Visit Anaheim. So let me get back to our conversation because I know I'm already messing up our entire schedule here. Sorry about that, Josh. But, we wanted to chat about, we're talking about ways to get your property sold for the highest possible price and avoid that price reduction. So I've given you the 3 ways of doing it. Number 1, we can talk about the listing price so we can get an aggressive price when we put it on the multiple listing service. We talked about an above market buyer's commission to make sure we get as many agents as possible pushing the property. And I'm saying go to a 4 or 5% buyer's agent commission. You're still going to have to pay your listing agent his or her 3%, but 4 or 5% on the buy side. Might even look at helping with the payment. Now, you might even go above asking price to get the payment down so all this isn't coming out of the seller's money. Yes, you are allowed to go above asking price, and we do have the right ways of doing that with the appraisal gap program that we have through the team at Geneva Financial. And again, the team understands how to do the commission numbers and how to do the assistance with payments. But let's take this even further, because what does the seller care about? How much money do they net at the end of the day? Now, I'm going to give you 3 different options here. And I'm going to tell you that some of the things, I'm not going to give you all of the costs because some of them are going to be the same for regardless of the option. So I don't know what they are, but they're really not material because if I have to take it off one, I have to take it off all 3. So here's the idea. We started off with $1 million property. We owed $600,000 on it. We've got $400,000 in equity before all the costs. You can go to the open door offer pad. That's an option. And yes, they are fast. Yes, they are quick. They say that you're not going to pay commission, but they charge a fee. Some, usually about 7.5% is the normal fee they charge. Sometimes they'll go to 5%, but generally they call it a fee of 7.5%. They don't tell you that it's the same as a commission, but it's the same as commission. So they charge that fee. What are you going to net out? Depending upon where they come in with all of their numbers, you're going to net out as a seller somewhere between, losing money and $330,000 net. Ew, I don't want to give up all my equity, right? That doesn't sound too good to me. So where are we coming in? Because they're not going to offer you market value no matter what they say. We've already seen it. I've got case studies of tests where they don't offer market value. Now, what if you go to a traditional realtor and they're going to list it at 5 to 6%? It's going to probably stay on the market a little bit longer. It's negotiated based, right? They're going to negotiate on that price, whatever you list it at. So if you list it at $1 million, on norm, you're going to get a 5 to 6% haircut off of that. Okay, now you're going to be on the market a little longer. It might be take a little while. Yes, you are going to get a personalized trained realtor because you're choosing them. And you're going to get somewhere between 5% below list price and 5% above the list price. And you're going to pay 5 to 6% commission. So at 95% of list price, you're going to net out at $302,500. If you get 5% over list price, you're going to net out at $397,500. Okay. It's okay, not best idea. Now, what if you go with this 4 or 5% buyer's side commission plus the 3% listing agent commission? So yes, you're paying 7 or 8%. I'm going to use the lower number, 7%. Okay, so what happens here? We're also going to say that we're going to list it for 1% more than what a traditional broker lists at. By doing all these things we've talked about, we're going to create real demand on this property, a feeding frenzy. It's going to push the price up, which means you get more money. You get more of your equity. You list it's 1% for 1% above the comp value. And here, let's take a look at this one. So what if we go on if they just get the full price offer and we did it 10% above, that's $1,010,000. The seller's going to net out at $339,300. Remember the low end on the traditional agent? The seller is going to net out at $302,500 on the low end. And on the online, if they give you a 30% haircut, which is not unusual, you lose $400,000. You have to come in with money. But here, you're coming out with $339,300 on the high end. Okay, so what if we get more money? You get offers up to 10% above. So you get $1,111,000. That means you're going to get $433,230 is the net that you're going to get as the seller. The net you're getting as the seller. You tell me, what do you like? Now remember, I didn't put in there commissions or title and escrow. None of them are going to tell you what the repairs orders might be, but they'll probably be about the same for all of those. So I didn't put those in there. All I did was take the pricing less commissions on each one of those and give you the net numbers. So the online broker, they're quick, but at what cost? Are you willing to give up maybe as much as $103,000 of your equity for their convenience, costing you $103,000 of your equity? That's the best scenario. I don't think you're going to be too excited about that. So now we've given you 3 ways to sell your property for more money without reducing the price, and you get to net out more money at the end of the day. What do you think about that concept? I think a lot of people are going to like the idea of selling their property, getting more money, and netting more money by using some of these strategies. Not everybody understands them. Not every realtor understands how to do it the right way. Give us a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We will tell you how to do this the right way. I don't think I have time for a Your Credit Matters segment today, so Josh is over there shaking his head. Don't you dare do it, because I already spent 17 hours trying to fit a show in earlier this week. So I'm not going to do it, Josh. We're going to talk about do I have time to discuss giving away a trip? 1 minute. Okay. Quickly. RSRraffle.com. RSRraffle.com. Go into RSRraffle.com. Register there. We're going to start going with the Wheel of Names. And we've got 5 trips to each. Las Vegas, 4 days, 3 nights. Hawaii, 6 days, 5 nights. Nashville, 4 days, 3 nights. Palm Springs, 4-3. San Diego, 4-3. Cabo San Lucas, 5-4. Cancun, 6-5. These are for the accommodations there. We don't pay for travel. We don't pay for the fees and the taxes. Or your gambling expenses. We just give you this stay, and you don't have to do anything for it. You don't have to buy anything. It's just going to go. Your name will go into the Wheel of Names, and there you have it. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio. As always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Just push me over the limit. I'd like to call him something